सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता। सिया राम के काज सवारे, सिया राम के काज सवारे, मेरा पर उदार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। अपरंपार शक्ति तुम्हारी, तुम पर नीचे अवत बिहारी। अपरंपार शक्ति तुम्हारी, तुम पर नीचे अवत बिहारी। भक्ति भाव से जाओ तो है, भक्ति भाव से जाओ तो है, कर दुखों से पार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। जपत निरंतर नाम तिहारा, जपत निरंतर नाम तिहारा। अब नहीं चोरो तेरा द्वारा, अब नहीं चोरो तेरा द्वारा। राम भक्त मोहे शरण मिलीचे, राम भक्त मोहे शरण मिलीचे। भव सागर सीतार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार।
Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Mrem Zabala Gajanan Swami ki jai. Adi Shakti Jagadamba Devi Mata ki jai. Omapati Mahadev ki jai. My dear devotees, aap log karao jaye. Let us all stand as we join together in Arti. Hari Om Ekadantaya Virmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Ramaya Ramayandraya Ramachandraya Virase Raghunataya Nataya Sita Pare Namaha. Om Dasharataya Virmahi Sita Vallabhaya Dhimahi Tanno Rama Prachodayat. Om Anjani Sutaya Virmahi Vayu Putraya Dhimahi Tanno Hanuman Prachodayat. Om Yani Kani Chavapani Jamatara Garadani Cha Tani Tani Vinashanti Prarakshamam Pare Pare. Arati Kije Hanuman Laki Dushta Dalan Raghunatha Laki Bala. Arati Kije Hanuman Laki Dushta Dalan Raghunatha Laki Bala. Arati Kije Hanuman Laki Dushta Dalan Raghunatha Laki. जाके बल से गिरे बरकापे रगदश जाके निकट न जाके भल. आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी भल. आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी. अंजनी पुत्र महाबलदाई संदन के प्रभु सदा समाई भलो. आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी भलो. आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी. लंका सपूत समुद्र सकाई जात पवन सुत मारन भल. आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी भल. आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी. लंका जारिय सूर संहारे सिया राम जी के काज सवारे भल. आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी. सुरनर मुनि आरती उतारे जय 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 हनुमान उच्चारे बोलो आरती दीजिए हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलत रघुनाथ लागी बोलो आरती दीजिए हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलत हरि ओम तत्सत 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 हरि ओम 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 तत्सत हरि ओम तत्सत हरि ओम तत्सत हरि ओम हरि ओम तत्सत हरि ओम तत्सत हरि ओम तत्सत हरि ओम 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 तत्सत 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 हरि ओम Sriram Jai Ram Om Jai Ram Shri Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Om Jai Ram Shri Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Om Jai Ram Shri Ram Om Shri Ram Jai 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 Ram प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र की जय. Please take your seats, my dear devotees. So firstly, allow me to take this opportunity and say to each and every one of you, Sabko hai Sitaram. And thank you all so very much for being here. A very special Sitaram to, of course, my Peter Ji, who always supports me wherever it is I go. A very special Sitaram to, of course, the members of my group. And a very warm welcome to, of course, Sankhya Television, one of the #1 stations when it comes to promoting, enlightening and increasing awareness of Hinduism locally and internationally. So to Ramesh Paji, may Bhagwan bless you and thank you for always being here and spending your wonderful time and energy with us. To you, the beautiful members of the Mandir, thank you so very much for having me and for being here. Our Katha tonight is a very simple one, very beautiful one, and very much easy to understand. But firstly, right where you are, I ask you, put your hands together with me. Close your beautiful eyes and bow your heads. And as your eyes are closed and your heads are bowed, meditate your mind upon that divine form of Hanuman Swami. Whatever obstacles, whatever challenges, whatever difficulties, put everything at the feet of Hanuman Baba. May he take you out of whatever darkness you may be in. May he take you out of whatever pain you may be facing. May he take you out of whatever challenges that may be hurting you, hampering you, destroying you. As your eyes are closed and your heads are bowed, I ask you to focus upon the sound of my voice. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kuru Medeva Sarvakaresha Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhayam Varade Kama Rupani Vidyarambham Karashyame Siddhi Bhavume Sada Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Siddhi Bodhi Brahadeve Bhakti Mukti Vradayani Mantra Murti Saradeve Mahalakshmi Namostute Om Namah Shivaya 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hanumanta 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 प्रेम से बोलो श्री हनुमान स्वामी की जय प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र की जय So devotees, wherever it is I go, I ask for one favor, and recently I've started to get this favor done for me with a lot of love. So I'm going to ask you for that favor, and hopefully I get it with the same love that I've been getting it recently. So you see right where you are, I want you to say Jai for me. A Jai that is very loud, and a Jai that is very proud. A Jai that is filled with all of your love and all of your devotion. Loudly and proudly. Prem se bolo Hanuman Swami ki. Kya baat, beautiful. Little louder. Prem se bolo Hanuman Swami ki. Beautiful. Clap with me, everybody. Sing with me as we glorify. No music, just you and I. Hanumanta, 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 Hanu, by yourself. Hanumanta, Hanu, 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 Hanumanta, Hanumanta, Hanu, 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 Hanumanta. Beautiful. Hanumanta. Hanu, Hanu, Hanumanta, 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 Hanu, Hanumanta, Hanumanta, Hanu, Hanumanta, 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 Hanu, Hanumanta, 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 Hanu, Hanumanta, Hanumanta, Hanu, Hanumanta, 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 Hanu, 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 Hanumanta, 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 Hanu. Beautiful. Hanumanta, Hanu, Hanu. Bola everybody. Hanumanta, 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 Hanumanta. Together. Hanumanta, 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 Hanumanta. Loudly and proudly. Prem se bolo Hanuman Swami ki. Beautiful. So I want to begin by asking you something. It is said in this world that we live in, there's one thing that is very, very powerful. One thing that not everyone sometimes possess. It is said in the world that we live in today, pride divides people, but something can unite people. My question to you is, what is that one thing that can unite people? What is that one thing that can bring people together? When pride divides us, this one thing brings us together. What is it? Starts with the letter H. Anybody know? Boys? Runs? It is said, pride divides us, but humility can bring us together. Pride divides us, but humility can unite us. And in the world that we live in today, it is said many of times, the pride, the ego, the ignorance, the arrogance, it takes us away from people. Our ego, our ignorance, our pride pulls us away from our friends. Our pride pulls us away from our family. Our pride pulls us away from our loved ones. But humility can bring you closer. Humility can unite friends and family. Humility can unite you and I in the world today. But you know something? Not everyone in today's world has humility within them. There are many people with ego. There are many people with ignorance. Many people with arrogance. And you know what ego stands for? E-G-O. Edging what? God out. Edging greatness out. The more ego it is you have, the less God it is you have. The more ego it is you have, the less greatness it is you have. And so many of times, our ego gets the better of us. Our pride gets the better of us. Our pride blinds us. But it is said humility, if you are blessed with it, can bring us together. And can I ask you something? What are the characteristics of a humble person in the world today? How do you know if somebody in your life, they have humility rather than pride? They have humility rather than ego. It is said a humble person, they will never, under no circumstances, look for recognition. I'll say that again. A humble person, under no circumstances, will ever look, crave, desire recognition. But a person with ego and a person with pride, they live for recognition. They crave for recognition. But a humble person, they never look for it. Devotees, in the world that we live in today, there are many of us and there are many of you sitting here. You will work very hard and you will do a lot of things, but you don't care to get your name called. You don't care to be acknowledged for it. You don't care to be recognized for it. Sometimes in Satsang, I may forget to thank my drummer. I may forget to thank the boys in my group. But they don't quarrel, they don't get vexed, because they don't look for recognition. Randy, he doesn't look for recognition. Vayu, they don't look for recognition. But in the world today, there are many people, they look for that recognition and they want that name and fame. But a humble person, they will do things simply out of the goodness in their heart. They will do things simply with a pure heart and a pure mind. And they do not care if you acknowledge them, if you thank them. It is good if you thank them, but if you don't, they won't let that change them. They won't let that deter them. They won't let that hinder them from being a good person. So they said the first characteristic of a humble person is that they never look for that name and fame. They never look for recognition. And I ask you, how many of you sitting here, you have people in your life, if you don't thank them, they vex with you. If you don't acknowledge them, they never do anything for you again. It happens because sometimes the people in our life, they are filled with pride. They are filled with ego rather than humility. A humble person will never look for recognition. What again does humble people possess? It is that a humble person, they will always help others achieve their goals. And I always use this statement. In the world we live in today, people want to see you do good. They just don't want to see you do better than them. And sometimes when you start to do better than them, they become a little upset with you. They become a little negative towards you. They become a little toxic towards you. But a humble person, they want you to excel. A humble person, they want you to climb the ladder. A humble person, they want you to progress. And a humble person will always help you achieve your goals. But in the world we live in today, so many of times, if you go to someone for help, sometimes they may help you, sometimes they may turn you away. Sometimes you may go to someone for advice, and they don't give you that advice. You know why? Because they are scared if they tell you how to do something, if they give you advice, if they help you in a situation, you may become better than them. But a humble person, a person without ego, they will push you and motivate you and inspire you and encourage you to achieve what it is you want to achieve. It is said humble people in the world today, they don't travel alone, but they want everyone to travel with them. They don't want to succeed alone, but they want everyone to succeed with them. They don't want to reign supreme alone, but they want to see everyone reign supreme with them. A humble person will push you towards achieving your goals. What again does a humble person possess? What other characteristic? So the first one, they will never look for recognition. The second one, humble people will always encourage you and help you to achieve your goals. What again? It is that a humble person, they will understand the perspective of someone else. And that's a very serious one. In the world we live in today, so many of us, we are so focused on ourselves. It is either my way or the highway. My way or no one's way. But a humble person, they will understand your perspective. They will see things from your eyes. They will understand things from your viewpoint. But in the world we live in today, if you have a different opinion from someone else, sometimes they hate you. If you have a different opinion or see things from a different angle or understand things from a different perspective, sometimes people, they don't like it. And sometimes people don't agree with it. And sometimes people will criticize it. But a humble person, they will understand your perspective. They will look at your perspective, see things from your eyes, and they will understand it. They will never get angry with you. They will never get upset with you. They will never hate you and move different with you because you see things differently. A humble person understands that everyone will see things according to themselves and according to the way in which they look at it. And they will never discriminate against you or hurt you for seeing things from a different angle. They will try their best to understand your perspective. What again? What is another characteristic of a humble person? It is that a humble person, they are forgiving. A humble person, they are very, very forgiving. And I'll tell you something. In this world that we live in today, every one of us would have been hurt. Every one of us would have been betrayed. Every one of us would have been lied to. But it is said, a humble person, they will forgive. A humble person, they will forgive the mistake. They will forgive the lie. But I tell you something. Just because you forgive, don't forget. Just because you forgive, don't forget. Because so many of times, people think if you forgive them, you love them again. No. Sometimes you can forgive a person and leave them right there. Because if you go to carry that burden of hating them and becoming upset with them, you will only destroy yourself. But a humble person, they forgive and they leave it there. They forgive you and they may leave you there. They may talk to you on and off, but they will never have that same relationship that they once had. And I'll tell you something in this world. Don't ever live with grudges. Don't ever live with hatred. Don't ever live with negativity. When the people of the world hurt you, be humble enough and forgive them, but leave them there as well. Don't always drag them with you. Don't always carry them with you. Forgive them and leave them there. But in the world we live in today, those qualities are very rare. There's so much ignorance, so much arrogance, so much individuals filled with pride. But I want to tell you this. As you live your life and as you go and you grow through life, wash away the ego and wash away the pride. Bring humility into your life. Be able to motivate people towards achieving their goals. Be able to Do things with such a good heart where you don't want recognition. Be able to forgive people and leave them there. Don't drag them with you and carry them with you so they can continue hurting you. And be able, my dear devotees, to understand things from other people's perspectives. And it is said there's one individual in our scriptures who is every single thing I said there. Whatever it is he did, he looked for no name, he looked for no fame. Whatever it is he did, he made sure he encouraged everyone to succeed. Whatever it is he did, he made sure he saw things from the angle and the perspectives of other people. Whatever it is he did, he was able to forgive. Anybody know who that was? One person in our scriptures who is filled with humility. No pride, no ego. Randy. Hanumanji. Excellent. It is said Hanumanji is the definition of humility. Hanumanji is the definition of simplicity. Hanumanji is the definition of everything I mentioned there to you. He supports you, he motivates you, he encourages you, and he does everything so selflessly. He doesn't look for recognition, he doesn't look for name, he doesn't look for fame. And tonight I'll share a beautiful katha with you about the humility of Hanumanji, the distance that Hanumanji sometimes goes, and how, no matter what it is he did, he never once wanted to be recognized. He never once wanted to be praised. He never once wanted a name and a fame. And I'm going to show you when he got praised, what he did with that praise and who he gave that praise to. As we enter our beautiful scriptures, we glorify. Jai Ram Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Bal Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Bal Jai Rama Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Bal Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Bal Shri Rama Jaya Rama नात पवन सुत कीन्ही जो हरणी साशुमो काम जाई सोबरनी बोल जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम बोल श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम बोल जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम बोल श्री राम जय राम नाता पवन सुत किन्ही जो हरणी सहर्ष साशु मुक्त ना जाय बरही भल जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम भल श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम भल श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम भल जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम भल श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम जय जय राम by yourself जय राम श्री राम जय जय Beautiful. Together. Sriram Jaya 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 Rama Bhala Jai Ram Shri Rama Jaya Rama Bhala Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Rama. Loudly and proudly. Prem se bolo Shri Ramachandra ki. Beautiful. It is said once Hanumanji, having arrived in Lanka, having met Lankini, having met Vibhishan, having met Sita Ma, got captured by Ravana, as we all know. He burnt parts of that city. However, it is said Hanumanji, before he left to return to Prabhu Sriram, before he left to let Prabhu Sriram know the good news, it is said he went once more to Sita Ma, talking to her and reassuring her that everything is going to be okay. And he asked her to give him something so that he can take it to Sriram. And it is said Sita Ma, she took a little ornament from the hair and she gave it to Hanumanji, and she said, when you see him, you give him this. And she told Hanumanji a beautiful message to narrate to Sriram when he met him. And Hanumanji, listening to the message that Sita Ma is sending, he takes that little ornament and he gets set to leap into the skies. It is said the moment Hanumanji left Lanka, he roared. And the roar of Hanumanji, it is said it echoed through the entire city of Lanka. And that roar of Hanumanji echoing, it is said all the Rakshasas that lived there, they became very much terrified, very much filled with fright and nervousness and anxiousness by just hearing the roar of Hanumanji. It is said Hanumanji, leaving Lanka, he returns to the seashore where all the kapis and the bears and everyone is waiting for him. It is at the moment that Hanumanji arrives there, and the moment the monkeys and the bears, they look at Hanumanji, they notice that he's glowing, he's radiating, he's shining. There's an aura around him. His body is very much golden, very much beautiful. And it's at the moment they saw him, they knew immediately that Hanumanji was successful in finding Sita Ma. They didn't have to ask him, they didn't have to question him, but the moment they saw the glow that he came with, they saw the light and the energy that he came with, all the doubt in their mind was removed. It is said Hanumanji, he came there feeling very much powerful. He came there with a purpose to let Sriram know that Sita Ma is okay. And let Sriram know exactly where Sita Ma was. Hanumanji, he came there with energy. He came there with a light. He came there with a vibration. And I want to tell you something. In this world that you live in, you can die tomorrow. Therefore, wherever it is you go and whatever it is you do, do it with an energy. Do it with a vibration. Do it with a power. Because you do not know if you will get the chance to do it again. So many of us in the world today, we take this life for granted. We think that we'll live forever. We think we'll always get opportunities. But no, Randy, today could be the last day you and I see each other. Today could be the last day you play drums. So when you play that drum, you play with energy. Kyle, today could be the last day you and I see each other. So when you play that dantal, you play with energy. This could be the last day I'm ever in this mandir. So when I come here, I read with energy. Because you never know how life can change just like that. And so many of us, we take life for granted. We go and we do things and we do it halfway. We go and we do things, we do it lazy. We go and we do things, we do it like we don't care. And I've seen it happen in the world so many of times. When you come to Mandir, you come with energy. You come with vibration. You may not get to come next week Sunday for service. That is how this world is. Everything can change just like that. And Hanumanji, he came there and he came with an energy, he came with a vibration, he came with a power. And by just seeing the energy that Hanumanji came with, all the bears and the kapis, they knew that Hanumanji came with good news. When you go places with energy, when you play your drum with energy, when you sing with energy, when you do things with energy, people know that you are not mama-guying them. You are not just doing it because you have to do it. You're not just doing it for a paycheck. You're not just doing it because you have no other choice. Do things with a power. Do things with a vibration. And let the world know that you enjoy the life that you live. You enjoy the things that you do. And this is how Hanumanji came back there. By just seeing him, everyone became joyous, everyone became happy, everyone became filled with energy because of the energy of Hanuman Baba. And I tell you this, my dear devotees, you see, energy is very contagious, you know. Energy is very, very contagious. If I come here and I reading boring, and I talking about everybody else, and I doing all kind of nonsense, I will lose you, you will sleep away, my drummer will sleep away, and everything goes downhill. If my drummer comes and he's playing like he doesn't want to play, then I will get vexed with him and the whole Ramayan goes downhill. So when you come with energy and you come with purpose, you create a good aura and a good vibration around you. So whatever it is you do, do it with a power, do it with an energy, and let your positive energies overtake the negative energies. Because in this world, anything can happen that can make us negative. The simplest of things can make us negative. I could have gotten a bad drive on the road and come here sour. You know that? Everything in this world sometimes can bring negativity to us. But we must fight that negativity no matter how dark the situation may be, and have a light around us. And that is what Hanumanji had. He came with that light, he came with that energy, and the moment he came there, everyone knew exactly. Hanumanji came with good news. Hanumanji came with positivity. It is said, seeing Hanumanji, they rejoiced, and he told them everything. He explained every single thing that took place. He explained the obstacles he faced. He explained the little battles he had to fight. He explained the friendship he made. He explained the 1 or 2 words that he shared with Ravan. He explained how he burned that city down. And he told them everything. But most importantly, he told them exactly where Sita Ma was. And it is said they rejoiced together and they said, let us go immediately to where Prabhu Sriram is, and let us share the good news with him. Let us share this positive vibrations and positive energy with him. And it is said, my dear devotees, as they took Hanumanji and they began heading to where Prabhu Sriram was, they had to pass through the garden of Sugriv. And when they were walking through the garden of Sugriv, so much joy they had. Angad, he looked at all of them and he said, listen, Hanumanji brought such good news on our way to Prabhu Sriram. Any fruits it is that you see in this garden of Sugriv, you pick it, you take it, and you celebrate and rejoice. And the bears and the kapis and monkeys that were there, they were so happy with Hanumanji coming back and knowing the good news that he brought, that they started to eat everything in that garden. They started to celebrate on their way to Prabhu Sriram. It is said the ministers of Sugriv saw that the bears and monkeys, they were eating all the fruits, and they went to Sugriv and they said, Sugriv, Hanumanji and Angad and Jambavan and all those that are with them, they are picking the fruits in the trees and they are eating it. But Sugriv said, really? Is that so? And he didn't get upset. He said, if they are eating the fruits from the trees, it must mean they have good news. If they are celebrating and rejoicing like that, it must mean they have brought good news. And Sugriv decided he would go and he would meet them. Listen to what takes place. Hari Om Namo Hanumate Namaha. 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 Namo Hanumate Namaha. Om 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 Namo Hanumate नमः ओम नमो हनुमते 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 नमः Loudly and proudly, Prem se bolo Hanuman Swami ki. It is said, meeting Sugriv, all the kapis that were there, overjoyed to see Sugriv. And you know what Sugriv did? The moment he saw Hanumanji, the moment he saw Jambavan and all of them that were there, Sugriv, instead of asking, did you find Sita? He asked, how were all of them present there? How were they doing? Were they okay? Are they okay? Hanumanji, Jambavan and all the kapis that were there, listening to the words of Sugriv, Sugriv asked, how are you all doing? That was the first thing he chose to ask. He didn't choose to ask, where is Sita? How is Sita? Did you find Sita? But he chose to find out the welfare of everyone that was there. It is said the kapis looking at Sugriv, they said to Sugriv, now that we are seeing you, we feel happy, we feel joy. Why? Because Hanumanji single-handedly was able to find Sita. They said, Sugriv, you gave us 1 month to find Sita. And you told us if we fail to find Sita within that month, there will be problems for us. However, Hanumanji was able to find Sita Ma. Hanumanji was able to locate Sita Ma. Hanumanji was able to talk to Sita Ma. And he brought back that good news. And Sugriv was overjoyed. He looked at Hanumanji and he embraced Hanumanji, feeling very much proud of the ability and the capability of Hanumanji. He said, let us go and let us meet Prabhu Sriram. It is said the moment they came up to where Sriram was and Lakshman was, all of them, they bowed their heads to Sriram. And you know what was the first thing Sriram asked? Sriram is sitting there worried about Sita Ma, worried about where she is, what is happening to her, and how will he find her. But the moment he saw Hanumanji and all the kapis and the bears and everyone that was there, the first thing Sriram asked was about their welfare. He did not ask if they found Sita Ma, but he asked them, how are they doing? It is said a humble person, my dear devotees, they will always look out for you first before looking out for themselves. I'll say that again. A humble person, a person free from the ego and the pride, will always look out for you first before they look out for themselves. And you may think to yourself, but that is a normal courtesy. You see somebody for the first time, you will ask them how they're doing. But no, not every time. In the world of ego, when you have people doing something for you, when you have people searching for something for you, when you have people helping you with something, so many of times you ask them, did you get through? You find it? You did it? Rather than ask, hi, how are you doing? And so many of times in the world, we forget to look out for each other. So many of times in the world, we forget to find out how the people in our life, they are doing. I tell you this, my dear devotees. Be humble and always inquire about the people in your life. Whether they are working for you, whether they are contracted to you, whoever it may be, always seek their welfare first. Prabhu Sriram, he was filled with the world of worries because he didn't know where Sita Ma was. But the first thing he asked was how each of them, how were they doing? It is said Jambavan, he looked at Prabhu Sriram. Listen to what he says in beautiful Chaupai. Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama Bhala, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Bhala, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama Bhala, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram Shri Rama, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama, Nata Pavan Suta काहि जो कारणी नाथ पवन सुत किन्हि जो करणी सुहासा श्रमोक्त न जय शोभरणी बोलो जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम loudly and proudly प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र की beautiful Jambavan, he looked at Hanumanji and he looked at Prabhu Sriram. And before Hanumanji could have spoken, Jambavan decided he would speak. And he said, Prabhu Sriram, we found Sita Ma. Hanumanji was the one that crossed that ocean and arrived at Lanka, where he was able to find Sita Ma. And Jambavan, my dear devotees, he started to narrate every single thing to Prabhu Sriram. He told him that Hanumanji faced little obstacles while crossing that ocean. He told him that Hanumanji faced obstacles arriving in Lanka. He told him that Hanumanji would have found Sita Ma, spoken to her. He would have interacted with Ravan. He would have burned that city down. And he would have returned. And Prabhu Sriram, my dear devotees, hearing the words of Jambavan, as Jambavan explained the brilliance of Hanumanji, Prabhu Sriram, he embraced Hanuman. He hugged him and held him close to his chest. Hanumanji, overjoyed with the love that Sriram was showing him, Sriram looked at him, and you know what Sriram asked? He said, Hanumanji, tell me now, how is Sita Devi doing? Tell me exactly how Sita Devi is doing. And Hanumanji, my dear devotees, he looked at Prabhu Sriram and he told him something very important, and I want you to be very attentive. He said, Prabhu, your name acts as the shield that protects Sita Devi throughout the day and throughout the night. Your name acts as the guard, the protection for Sita Devi during the day and the night. All she does is chant your name. And that name brings her safety. He says, Prabhu Sriram, the mind of Sita Ma, all she does is think about you. Nothing else but think about you. And by just thinking about you, the thought of you, it makes her feel like she's behind closed doors. It is said when a person is behind closed doors, they feel little safe and little secure. But when the doors are open, they feel little much agitated and irritated. He said, Prabhu, your name and the thought of you, it protects her. And the thought of you, it shields her like how a door closes in and protects a person. And he said, the eyes of Sita Ma, it goes nowhere. The eyes of Sita Ma, it is glued to her own feet. That is what Hanumanji told Sriram. The words only chanting Ram. The mind only thinking about Ram. And the eyes locked onto the feet of herself. Prabhu Sriram, hearing the words of Hanumanji, it is said a tear started to flow from his eyes. Knowing that Sita Devi, wherever she is, whatever situation she may be facing, all she's doing is talking about him, thinking about him. And her eyes isn't wandering and wavering anywhere. Hanumanji, he continues and he says, Prabhu, before I left to look for Sita Ma, you gave me something. Anybody know what Sriram gave Hanuman? The ring. Excellent job. Can I ask you something? When Sriram gave Hanuman that ring, where did Hanuman put it? That ring, when Hanuman arrived in Lanka, he showed Sita Ma that ring. But when Hanumanji was given that ring, what did he do with it? Anybody know? If somebody give you something, what you'll do? You'll hold it or you put it in your pocket, isn't that so? But where did Hanumanji do with the ring? What pocket he put it in? The mouth. It is that Hanumanji, he placed the ring in that mouth. And that is how he stored that ring. And now, he's looking at Sriram and he says, Sriram, you gave me that ring that I gave to Sita Devi. And that ring brought comfort to her. However, she also gave me something to give you. She gave me an ornament that she keeps on her head. And he took that ornament and he gave it to Sriram. And Sriram, seeing it, he made it out immediately, knowing that Sita Ma always keeps this on top of her head, in her hair. He holds on to that ornament, he keeps it to his chest. He said, Hanuman, what again did Sita Ma tell you? And Hanumanji, my dear devotees, he looks at Prabhu Sriram and he says, Prabhu, Sita Ma, she thinks about you, talks about you, focuses on you and only you. And she told me to let you know her mind, her words and her actions are only dedicated towards you. Even though she is in Lanka under the surveillance of Ravan, her mind, her words and her actions always dedicated to you. It never changed. No matter what Ravan did, how Ravan tried to intimidate her, she never ever broke concentration from you, O Prabhu Sriram. However, she told me to tell you that she committed one sin. She told me, Prabhu Ram, to tell you that she committed one mistake. And I want to ask you something. What is the mistake that Sita Ma told Hanuman she made? Prabhu Sriram, hearing the words of Hanumanji, he started to think, what mistake? If she's devoted in her mind, her words and her actions, what sin did she commit? What mistake did she make? Anybody know? Boys? Rams? What mistake did Sita Ma tell Hanumanji? She said, Hanuman, I made one mistake. What is it? Prabhu Sriram is asking, what is that mistake? What did Sita Ma do? Her mind, her thoughts, her actions are devoted to me. Hanumanji said, Prabhu, the one mistake Sita Ma told me to tell you is that her soul did not leave her body the moment she was separated from you. And that's a very powerful line. She said, Hanumanji, you let my Lord know that the one mistake I made is that my life did not leave my body the moment I became separated from him. And Prabhu Sriram, hearing those words, he broke down. Tears started to flow from the eyes. That was the one mistake of Sita Ma. Her life did not leave the body once she was separated from Sriram. And you know something, my dear devotees? Sita Ma, she looked at Hanumanji and she told Hanumanji, she said, my eyes are the reason I committed this mistake. My eyes are the reason I committed this mistake. And Hanumanji is telling to Sriram now, Sriram, she told me to tell you that her eyes are the reason she committed that mistake. The only reason that life did not leave her body is because her eyes yearned to see your beauty one more time. And that is love. Let me tell you this. Nowadays, young boys, Randy, if your Dulahindo tell you that, something wrong. That is love, my dear devotees. That is love to the purest of levels. Where she said, my eyes wanted to just glance at your beauty one more time. And that is why my life did not leave my body. And Prabhu Sriram, hearing the words of Hanuman, tears flowing from the eyes, overjoyed at the same time, but saddened at the same time. He looked at Hanumanji and he said, Hanuman, how do I repay you? How do I repay you? What do I give to you to compensate for what it is you have done? He said, Hanuman, no Brahman, no sage, no wealthy king, no wealthy man has ever made me feel as obligated as I am feeling obligated to you right now. What you have done, Hanumanji, I am obligated to repay you. How do I repay you? And he said, Hanuman, you know something? I cannot repay you for what you have done. I cannot repay you for what you have done. I cannot repay you for the distance that you have gone for me. I cannot repay you for the effort that you have put in for me. I cannot repay you for the sacrifice that you have made for me. And I tell you this, my dear friends, in this world that we live in, the Hanumanjis of this world are very rare, you know. There are many people, they will not sacrifice for you. Actually, correction, there are many people, they will tell you they will sacrifice for you. And when it is time to do it, they leave you there to suffer. You will be so kind and loving to people, But when it is time for them to sacrifice and put a little effort for you, they sacrifice for somebody else. And that is the harsh reality of the world. And Sriram is saying, Hanumanji, I cannot repay you. There's nothing I can do that will equal what you just did for me. And Hanumanji, he fell at the feet of the Lord and he said, Prabhu, save me from this ego that you are instilling in me. Save me from this ego that you are placing in me. And Prabhu Sriram, he picked up Hanumanji and he hugged him. Hanumanji, he was getting praise like never before. Sriram was commending him, congratulating him, appealing to him. What do I do? How do I repay you? I cannot repay you. And Hanumanji, he fell at the feet of the Lord and he said, take away this ego from me. Take away this ego that you are instilling in me. Allow me to always remain humble. And Prabhu Sriram, he embraced him. Prabhu Sriram, he looked at Hanumanji and he said, Hanuman, tell me, Jambavan just said of all the things you did. Jambavan just said of how much Rakshasas and obstacles you faced on your way to Lanka. He told me how you met with Ravan. He told me that you was able to burn down that city of Lanka. How did you do it? How were you able to do that to Hanumanji? And Hanumanji, he looked at Prabhu Sriram. Listen to what he says. Hari Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. So sabatava prata barurai, so sabatava prata ragurai, nata nakradu prabhu chai, nata nakrabhu prarachai. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. By yourself, everybody. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Rama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai, Shri Ram, Jai, Bala Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai, Shri Ram. Beautiful. Prem se bolon Shri Ramachandra ki. So Prabhu Sriram said, how did you do it? How did you do all of those things that Jambavan is telling me? And Hanumanji, he looked at Sriram and you know what he said? He said, Prabhu, I was able to do everything it is that I did because of your grace. I was able to do everything that I did because of your blessing, because of your darshan, because of your kripa. Hanumanji had two choices at that point in time. He could have told Prabhu Sriram, well, Prabhu, I did everything that I did because I am strong, because I am brave, because I am fearless, because I am the greatest. But instead he said, Prabhu, I did everything I did because I had your blessing. I did everything I did because I had your love and support. And I'll tell you this, my dear devotees, that is humility. That is humility. Hanumanji just did all of those things, and now when he's being recognized, he doesn't want to take that recognition. I told you in the beginning, a humble person, they don't care for name and fame. They don't care for recognition. When Sriram was praising him, Hanumanji fell to the feet of the Lord and said, take away this ego. He said, Prabhu, I did it because of your blessing. How many people in the world today, they can be like that? They can achieve so many great things in this world and not credit themselves. I tell you this, my dear friends, every single thing we have in this world today, whatever it is you are nowadays, you did not achieve it on your own, you know. Many of times people say they are self-made. Okay, no problem. But let me tell you this. At some point in time in your life, you would have had to have someone who would have guided you a little bit, who would have maybe given you some sort of advice a little bit. We do not reach anywhere without the help of people in the world today. And if you reach where you are today without ever asking anybody for help, well then God bless you. Because no one in the world today achieve what they achieve without having a little foundation or little advice from people. A child, when they share a good relationship with the parents are the foundation. They plant little things to help that child grow and to succeed. And it is up to that child to build himself or herself. And it's the same thing with every one of us. At some point in time in our life, we are who we are today because somebody would have maybe given us a little foundation, a little motivation, a little advice. We did not reach where we are today on our own. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we forget that we had people who maybe supported us. We had people who would have helped us create and build our foundation. We had people who would have maybe given us advice to motivate us to where we are today. You must always be grateful for the people it is in your life, you know. Always be grateful. And I tell you this, so many of times when people arrive in the sunlight, they forget who stood with them in the rain. So many of times when people arrive in the sunlight, they forget who stood with them in the rain. And many of times, the people who stood with you in the rain, you ignore them and you forget them and you discard of them like a piece of garbage. And the people who only came into your life in the sunshine, you love them like if they were there from the start. You are where you are today because somebody helped you, somebody believed in you, somebody inspired you, somebody motivated you, somebody gave you some sort of encouragement. And we must be grateful for the people who believed in us. We must be grateful for the people who supported us. And Sriram, being told by Hanumanji, Prabhu, I achieved what it is I achieved because of your blessing. Prabhu Sriram was in awe of the humility that Hanumanji possessed. He was in awe of the humility that Hanumanji had, my dear friends. And I tell you this, live your life as humble as can be. Live your life as simple as can be. Never allow the ego of this world to get the better of you, because pride will divide us. But humility is what brings us together. And I'll share one more example with you. So Hanumanji showed his loyalty. Hanumanji showed humility to Prabhu Sriram. But it is said there was another time where Valmiki Ji, the author of the Ramayan, he was told that Hanumanji also wrote a Ramayan. And when he heard that Hanumanji also wrote a Ramayan, Valmiki Ji, he wanted to read that Ramayan. And he wanted to know if that Ramayan was better than his, if that Ramayan was greater than his, if that Ramayan was more powerful than his. So they said he journeyed to the Himalayas where he met Hanumanji and he said, Hanuman, is it true that you wrote a Ramayan for yourself? And Hanumanji said, yes, it is true. He said, I want to see it. And Hanumanji, he took Valmiki Ji and he took him to a ledge and he showed him humongous boulders of rocks where Hanumanji carved the writings of the Ramayan on those rocks. And Valmiki Ji, he's standing on that ledge and Hanumanji is pointing him to where he wrote that Ramayan. And Valmiki Ji, he begins to read every single thing that Hanumanji carved on those rocks, every single word that Hanumanji wrote on those rocks. And as Valmiki, he read and he read and he read, it is said from moments he started to laugh, at other moments he cried. And when he finished reading the entirety of everything that Hanumanji wrote on those boulders, those rocks, Valmiki, he looked at Hanumanji and he said nothing. He looked at Hanumanji and he said nothing. He remained very quiet, having read every single thing, laughing at points, crying at points. Having finished read it, he said nothing. He just stood there. And Hanumanji, he looks at Valmiki and he noticed that the face of Valmiki is very sad, very much lost. You know, sometimes you look at somebody and you know that they just lost. You know that they just don't want to be there anymore. You see it, you know, I can look at some people and I know they have no time with me no more. They don't want to be here anymore. But they're holding on for God alone knows what. And Hanumanji looked at Valmiki and he knew something was bothering Valmiki. He knew that Valmiki was confused and concerned about something, worried about something. but Valmiki wasn't saying. So Hanumanji looked at Valmiki and he said, Valmiki, why are you so sad? Why is your face the way it is? Is my Ramayan that bad? Is my Ramayan written that poorly? And Valmiki, he shook his head and he said, no. The Ramayan that you wrote it with such power. You wrote it with such beauty and divinity that I stand here looking sad. Because your Ramayan is better than mine. And your Ramayan being better than mine, it means everyone will love yours. And no one will love mine anymore. No one will want to read mine anymore. Everyone will want to read yours. And I put so much time and effort into my Ramayan. But reading yours, mine cannot compare. And Hanumanji said, that is why you're sad? That is why you look worried? And Hanumanji smiled, and he said he lifted Valmiki and placed him on his shoulder. And Hanumanji took Valmiki closer to where he had the big boulders where the Ramayan was written. And Hanumanji, taking all of those boulders, digging out everything it is he made, taking the slabs of the rocks where the Ramayan was written, he goes into the middle of the ocean and he drops it into the water. It is at the moment he drops into the water, the waves begin to rise. And Valmiki looks at Hanuman and he said, Hanuman, what have you done? What have you done? You should have dropped me into that water instead of dropping your Ramayan, your walk into that water. And Hanumanji, he looked at Valmiki and he said, no. He said, Valmiki, you wrote your Ramayan so the world remembers you. I wrote my Ramayan so that I will remember the Lord. But Valmiki ji, from now on, there's no more my Ramayan. There will only be your Ramayan. Your Ramayan will be the Ramayan that is renowned and loved by everyone else. And you will get that recognition from your work and the effort that you placed. Hanumanji shocked Valmiki and he said, you put all this effort, you put all this energy. But Hanumanji was so humble that he was willing to destroy his own work so that Valmiki would succeed. He was willing to give up what he wrote so that Valmiki one will be the superior Ramayan. And that is humility, where you're willing to sometimes sacrifice yourself for the good of somebody else. Where you are willing to lose yourself sometimes just so that a person can find themselves. And so many of us, we take pieces of ourselves and we give it to people. And before you know it, you give everything you have to everyone else. And when you want a piece of them now, they don't give it to you. Sometimes you're so busy helping everybody, caring for everybody, that you forget to care for yourself. And Hanumanji was so humble, he did not care for that recognition. What he cared about was the ego that Valmiki possessed. He didn't want Valmiki to be broken and shattered, but he wanted the Ramayana of Valmiki ji to be loved and read through everyone that would have had their hands on it. And that is humility, my dear friends. As we have come to the end of our beautiful katha tonight, I want to tell you something. Live in this world as humble as you can be. Yes, from time to time you will share and you will give so much of yourself to people. But I tell you this, never allow ego to infiltrate your life. Never allow anger and hate and jealousy and pride to infiltrate your life. Be as humble as you can be. Be as selfless as you can be. And whatever it is comes in your pathway, whatever things you achieve in your life, be like Hanumanji and ask the Lord to take that ego away from you. Whatever it is you achieve in your life, be grateful and understand that it is the blessings of Bhagwan that have us where we are today. When you have people in your life, sometimes you may find it a little difficult to be humble towards them, especially when they take and they take and they take and they take from you. You may want to get a little arrogant with them. You may want to get a little upset with them. But sometimes just leave them. Just leave them. Forgive them, forget them, move on. And focus on yourself. Be so humble, my dear devotees, that you stand out from the people around you. Be so humble, be so simple, be so loving, be so divine and be so devoted that you're a light in the lives of the people that you meet. Be like Hanumanji, my dear friends. Prem se bolo Hanuman Swami ki. Oh, Jai Sriram, little louder. Prem se bolo Hanuman Swami ki. Beautiful. So at this point in time, we organize for Havan as we'll join in wonderful Hanuman Chalisa. Hari Om श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकर सुरार वरण और रघुवर विमल जस जोराय कपल चार बोरहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मुहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम। Devotees, whatever ego, whatever pride, whatever ignorance, put everything at the feet of Hanumanji. May Hanumanji bless you with humility. May Hanumanji bless you with that ability to love, that ability to be filled with devotion, filled with divinity. Clap with me, sing with me, pray with me as we glorify you. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बलधाम अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नाम महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुवेश कानन कुंडल कुंचित केश। जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम। कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महा जगवंदन वीर्यवान गुणियति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय
जीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाए तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाए। जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद सारद सही सहईशा यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि को विद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाए राजपद दीन्हा।
जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
तुम्हारे मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर पे सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर पानु लियो ताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मिले मुख माहि चलरि लागी गई अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते।
जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम।
राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लही तुम्हारे शरणा तुम रक्षक कहो को धरना
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama.
ऐसे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंजन हनुमत वीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन प्रण वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन बल पावे।
Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama.
चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा, हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुरावे, अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सहार हो रघुपति के दासा।
Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama.
तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुपति पुर जाई, चाहा जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चेता धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट ते मीटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा।
Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama.
जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई,
कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सरबार पार पर कोई, ज्योति बंदी महासुख होई, जो यह पर हनुमान चालीसा, होय से सारी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, जय नाथ हृदय महादेरा। जय रामा, श्री राम जय राम 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 जय रामा, श्री राम जय राम। पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसु सुरभूप। प्रेम से बोलो हनुमान स्वामी की। Let us all stand. I ask you all to put hands together as we make this final offering into that fire, seeking the divine blessings of the Devis and the Devtas. Hari Om Purnamada Purnamiram Purnat Purnamudakshate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasheshate Swaha. Achman Om Sarva Papaharam Divyam Gangayam Nirmalam Jalam Achmanyam Mayaratam Grehana Parameshwaraha. East West North South. Om Banaspari Raso Bhuto Gandharyo Gandha Uttama Sarva Grayanam Devanam Dupoyam Brati Grahitam. Everybody stretch your hands, bring the blessings of our Havan over your heads 3 times. Prem Savolo Shri Hanuman Swami Ki Jai. Very good. As we join together in Arti. Hari Om Shri Yani Kani Japapani Janmantara Kritani Cha Tani Tani Vinashati Prarakshamam Pare Pare Arati Kije Hanuman Lalaki Dushta Dalana Ragu Natak Laki Bala Arati Kije Hanuman Lalaki Dushta Dalana Ragu Natak Laki Bala Arati Kije Hanuman Lalaki Dushta Dalana Ragu जाके बल से गिरिवर कापे रोग दोष जाके निकट न जाके बोलो आरती कीजे हनुमान दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागे बोलो आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी अंजनी पुत्र महाबलदाई संतन के प्रभु सदा सहाय बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी लंका सकोट समुद्र सकाए जात पवन सुत मारन लाए बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी लंका सजारिया सूर संहारे सिया राम जी की काज सवार बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी सुर नर मुनि आरती उतारे जय 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 हनुमान उचारे बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी बल आरती कीजे हनुमान लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी दुष्ट दलन रघुनाथ लागी Let us all put hands together, close eyes, bow heads, as we have come to the end of our beautiful katha for tonight. We ask if we had made any mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly, ask for forgiveness and guidance, blessing now and always. Hari Om Mandrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktahinam Janardanam Yarabhujatam Mayareva Paripuranam Darastame Shiva Hare Shiva Rama Sake Prabhu Trivirata Parivaran He Vibhu Ajajaneshara Yadravapaimam Shiva Hare Vijayam Kurume Varam Pratidinam Kushalam Jaya Mangalam Om Tvameva Mata Jabira Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti 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 Hare Om Prem se bolo Ganesha Bhagwan ki Jai Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Please take your seats, my dear devotees. May Bhagwan bless each and every one of you for being here. Thank you also very much for giving us the opportunity. To the members of my group, thank you. To Sankhya Television, thank you. To my Peter Ji, thank you. And of course to the wonderful members of the Mandir, the executive team, thank you very, very, very much. I do pray that the simple message, it stays with you. You learn, you go home, and you educate those around you. Until next time, everybody, Sabkoi Sitaram. So we'll have the vote of thanks. So can the member of the Mandir please come give that vote of thanks.
Sitaram, everyone. A very warm welcome to you. This our Dinsley village temple. It has been in operation for a long time, but the new one, this one that you are presently in, has been here only for around 3 years, 2.5 years. So I want to welcome, first of all, I was placed in a somewhat embarrassing position in that our president is not here, and I was only asked this evening to move a vote of thanks. So I hope I do a good job of it when I'm finished. But I'd like to thank, first of all, our esteemed Pundit Pradeep Rambally and his son Ajay. We want to extend a very warm welcome to the Dinsley Hindu Temple and hope you had a very well-received reception at this temple. I must say I was deeply moved when I came in this afternoon because I walked into the temple around 5 o'clock only to see our beloved Pundit doing by himself. It's something that you don't normally see. He was here by himself preparing the stage for this particular prayer. So I want to say that was humility in its highest order. I've never seen such humility displayed by any Pundit at this temple before. So on behalf of the temple executive, I'd like to thank you for coming. Hope you had a very, I listened to the Pundit's discourse, Pundit Ajay, and he made my work a little easier in that his discourse was very, very enlightening indeed. I'm sure most of you would have enjoyed his discourse. Ego is something that people normally display very often, but he put the brake on the ego, and in place he used the term humility, which we should all strive to achieve. So I hope you take his advice very warmly, and when you go back, you practice this humility that he spoke about. And his father was a living example of that this evening. So once again, on behalf of the executive of this temple and all the members of the temple, together with those of you who have been coming for the first time, we want to welcome each and every one of you. I want to also welcome Sankhya Television. I sometimes listen to the discourses on your television programming, and I think you're doing a very wonderful job indeed. So in promoting the culture. So I'd like to wish you to continue in that same strain and hope that you continue doing what you're supposed to do. So once more, on behalf of the management and the executive committee of the Dinsley Hindu Temple, a very, very warm and cordial invitation to each and every one of you. To the group on the stage, I'd like to thank you for the wonderful bhajan that you sang this evening, and I really enjoyed the discourse this afternoon. So on behalf of everyone, we'd like to thank you very much and hope to see you here whenever you wish. We want to extend a warm invitation to you at any other time. So thank you very much, and Jai Hanuman to each and every one of you.
सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, दुखियों के तुम भाग्य विदाता। सिया राम के काज सवारे, सिया राम के काज सवारे, मेरा पर उदार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। अपरंपार शक्ति तुम्हारी, तुम पर नीचे अवत बिहारी। अपरंपार शक्ति तुम्हारी, तुम पर नीचे अवत बिहारी। भक्ति भाव से जाओ तो है, भक्ति भाव से जाओ तो है, कर दुखों से पार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। जपत निरंतर नाम तिहारा, जपत निरंतर नाम तिहारा। अब नहीं चोरो तेरा द्वारा, अब नहीं चोरो तेरा द्वारा। राम भक्त मोहे शरण मिलीचे, राम भक्त मोहे शरण मिलीचे। भव सागर सीतार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, हे दुख भंजन मारुति नंदन, सुन लो मेरी पुकार, सुन लो मेरी पुकार। पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार, पवन सुत बिनती बारंबार। Listen to the dew singing in the sky. Listen to the ocean's wave dancing with joy. Listen to the birds singing on the trees. All of them singing happy birthday. It's a happy, happy, happy day. It's a holy, holy, holy day. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिन ये गाए, बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए. तुझे हजारों सा ये मेरी है आरज़ू. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Sasha. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Sasha. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nija Mana Mukura Sudan Varano Raghuvar Vimalayasha Jodhaya Kapalachar Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavana Kumar Bala Buddhi Vedyan Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vikan. O Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar Jai Kapish Tihu Loka Ujagar Ramaduta Tulita Baladama Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama Mahavira Vikram Bajarangi Kumati Nivar Sumati Kesangi Kanchana Varana Viraj Suvesha Kanal Kundal Kunchit Kisha Mahavira Balavanta Mahavira Balavanta Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Atravatra Raja Viraje Kande Munja Janeo Saje Shankar Suvan Keshari Nandan Teja Patap Mahajagavandan Vedyavan Guniyati Chatur Ram Kaj Kari Beko Ad Prabhu Charitra Suni Beko Rasya Ramalakan Sita Manabasya Mahavira Balavanta Mahavira Balavanta Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Shukshma Rupa Darisiya Hidikava Vikata Rupa Dadilam Kajarava Bhima Rupa Dariyasura Sanare Ramchand Ke Kaj Savare Lai Sajivan Lakan Jiyai Shri Raghuvira Had Shodalai Raghupati Kini Bahuta Barai Tuma Mama Priya Bharatai Samab Mahavira Balavanta Mahavira Balavanta Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Jai Hanuman Mahavira Balavanta. सहस्रवदन तुमरो यस कावे यस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नादर सादर सहित हीशा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाए राज पर दिन महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जान जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लियो ताहि मधुर फल जान प्रभु मुद्रिका मिल मुख माही जल नीलांग कई अचर जनारी दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे जित महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी शरण तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनहु लोक हाके के काबे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनब महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत नाशय रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संगत ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साज और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता सबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के रास महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चेत न डरे हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलवीर महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय 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 हनुमान गुसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पात कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यहाँ पर हनुमान चालीसा होय से दिशा की गौरीशा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान पवन तनय संकट हरना मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसो सुरभूप
Sankhya Television is not only the first Hindu TV station in Trinidad and Tobago, but Sankhya TV also has the most coverage. Sankhya TV covers events held by all branches of Hinduism, thus making the reach of